think that comes back to one of the central and recurring themes of this debate. We can go back and forth about the minutia and the details of policy and how long you have to go back to your country before you can reapply for a visa, or how you deal with the anchor baby problem. But I think, first and foremost, the job of the federal government must be to secure the border and prove that they can keep it secured. Because we can talk to a blue in the face about these issues, but if people can just waltz across the border when they see fit, with impunity virtually, then it's just an academic debate, and it's not reality. And I think you said that very well. Back to Isaac just very quickly, because someone wrote in big red ink. Isaac Hayes, how can we Northerners arrange a campaign tour by busloads to the 2nd District to work for people?
Shake the hand of the person that wrote that. But give me a call. My cards, like I said, on the table. You can see me after this, and we'd be happy to set that up and go out there and show the 2nd District of Illinois, which is really the south side and the south suburban communities outside of Chicago, that we mean business. And so I welcome your support. I welcome that bus ride, and that'd be one drive by the south side hasn't seen before.
What are the other arguments that you hear, aside from the tearing apart families argument, which I think is compelling to a lot of people? Another one that comes up repeatedly is you have illegal immigrants coming in to do the jobs that Americans just won't do. It's like, we hear it over and over again. It's like you can wake these people up in their sleep and they would have that line ready to go because it's so ingrained into the pro-amnesty argument. And I think there are a lot of people who, at least before the recession, would say that's maybe true. What do we do about the issue of a labor shortage, a perceived labor shortage of citizens in this country, and the need and the economic impact that Isaac was talking about? Let's start with Tony.
Well, I have to say, first of all, when Isaac, when you read off those 10 points, I thought to myself, I've never heard somebody put a game plan together like that. It's so comprehensive. So, I guess the easy answer to that question is, let's do the 10 things you said. Because if we had a way for those workers to come in legally and be productive and then go back, then I'd be all for it. And it's a win-win. In consulting, it's all about win-win. You know, it's making sure that all parties come away with what they need. If America needs the labor, the short-term labor, and there's a supply of it, it can be a win-win. But we got to put the right stuff in place, right? Yeah. And so I don't know if that's too easy of an answer. I don't know if you want to expound on that.
Well, I think the one thing you can do, because that's another tough one, is we need some mechanism in place that shows Americans are not applying for those jobs. So if there's some type of record-keeping mechanism that says the only applicants we're getting are people who are not citizens of the United States, then you have the data to prove it. Sort of with E-Verify and what's in the Arizona bill is that you have to prove you did the necessary work to try to verify this person's legal status. And I think we may need something. You can't mandate who a private employer hires, so that's why it's tricky. But maybe we can put something in place that at least allows us to view data and statistics to make a determination if that's true or not.
Agreed. I think that the program for guest workers, so that they can, we have a job for that, we can fulfill that need if it is there. Although some statistics are saying that it isn't true now, that American workers really will do all those jobs. Also, we need to reinstitute the no match program, which President Obama has rescinded, where if the Social Security number doesn't match, some E-Verify, some employers don't use it. It's not mandatory. But, and some employers say, well, as long as you've got a card, I have done what I said I was going to do. But if the Social Security doesn't match, then the employer is fine, and they, of course, have to release the worker. All of these need to be put back in place.
I think when we're talking about that guest worker program too, we're all supporters of free market economics here, and supply and demand is a fluid thing. So the jobs that Americans just won't do in 2004 is a very different situation nationally than the jobs Americans just won't do in the middle of a terrible recession in 2010. So I think that, you know, when we get to the point, hopefully, where the border's secure and we're going through this stuff and having those tough discussions, I hope that that comes up and that we design the guest worker program in an intelligent way where it's not just this perpetual thing where we keep granting it to anyone who wants it if it's not really necessary. I think we have time for one more question, and it touches on something that Maria just brought up, and it comes down to document fabrications. This is a huge problem. They said the illegal community can pay, and I know this is definitely true. Illegals can pay a few $100s, get a driver's license, a social security card, and in some cases a green card. How can we ever get a true handle on this situation when it's so easy to forge documents and pretend and masquerade like you are here legally? And what can we do to make that more difficult? It's a good last question.
Can I answer the question by not answering the question?
Can I answer that question by not answering the question? Go ahead.
Let me tell you where I'm torn on this question. Is because I know the answer, but the answer I know I don't like. The answer is through something that cannot be easily replicated, which is some type of biometric. But for many of us Christians, we know that that could lead down a path that we don't want to go down.
Yes.
Okay, so there's an answer, but I don't like the answer. Okay, so that's my
like a national ID,
something that would use biometrics to uniquely identify us. Yes.
Okay.
I know it sounds like it's not enough of an answer, but I think we have to go back to enforcing the laws that are already here. It's not unlike, you know, today, if you have a kid who gets a fake ID in college or whatever, you know, if they're caught with a fake ID now, it's a felony. It's because it's identity theft. It's the same thing. I mean, again, it goes back to strengthening our internal laws.
That's true.
I kind of agree that I am in favor of not an implant of a chip, but I mean fingerprinting, which we do now if you're arrested or whatever. I mean, you do fingerprinting. My son was fingerprinted when he was young in case he got lost or kidnapped. We have it. So I think something on that order, which may not lead to the Pandora's box that we all fear greatly, but I think that's one way, because counterfeiting, I don't know if you can come up with any type of card or document that cannot be counterfeited other than your fingerprint or something like that. You know,
although based on what we've all heard in the debate over the Arizona law recently, even if we created that type of card, if we asked anyone for it, we'd immediately be a racist, which is the insanity that this debate has devolved into. It's 9 o'clock. I just want to thank you all.
How about a line in our documents, like in our money, that shows it's good? That's good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes absolute sense too. So thank you for that contribution as well. A few of us are going to stick around. A few of us have to run out. I just want to remind you, my show is Sunday nights at 7 o'clock on WIND. Thank our panel for being here. They did a great job. Thank you for showing up.